Hey guys, welcome to tonight's live. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. It's good to see you again if you were here for today's live. We were on this afternoon covering the Natalie Holloway case as well. So good news in true crime today, you know. How are you doing tonight, guys? Oh, look, we got a lot of people in here. Thanks, Ozzy, for becoming a new member. That's so awesome. Oh, you just became a member and I almost put you in timeout. I hit the wrong button. I was like, oh, Lordy, that would have been bad. I've done that before, actually. Someone gave me a super chat one night and I clicked the wrong button. Like my finger like double clicked and it put them in timeout. Good thing they were a friend of mine in the chat because I could email them really quick. I was like, come back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, sometimes that happens. Myrtle Beach Cop Watch. That's a long name. How are you doing tonight? And I saw Jan was here. Jan was in here greeting people. And who else do we have? I didn't even go to the top. Holly. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cindy. Cindy, Terry, and Holly were here. They were ready. They were ready for the live, and I was not ready earlier. So I'm so sorry about that. I'm a little bit late. I usually come on at 8:15. We had to take it to 8:30. And y'all, I was still like trying to type up stuff and notes, and I have pages and like tabs open everywhere. It's been a while. I'm wondering the same thing, Ashley. So earlier today, if you guys didn't get a chance to watch the live, they did settle with a proffer agreement for Natalie Holloway's case, and we're waiting on that proffer to be released, and we'll be doing a live over that. So we'll read it to you guys. I'm going to read it. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I want to know what happened, and I want to know. It's been so long. That case was going on for so long. So it's time to know. So if you guys are first timers and this is your first time here with me, I'm Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. I don't go by, one over the other, just whatever you want to call me in the chat. I'll usually listen. If you would like to join our channel membership, I'll put that in the chat again. I put it in there earlier when I came in, and it's also pinned at the top for you guys. And we'll be talking about Idaho 4 tonight. So get ready. Get ready for that. If you appreciate tonight's case coverage, I hope you'll consider also subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. So first off, I want to tell you guys, never, ever, ever go into an Idaho Facebook group, like a Facebook discussion group. If you all can handle it, if you guys have been in there and you can run with the wolves, more power to you. But I went into one today to get some of the stuff for the live, and I've never been in one. And I was like, whoa, wow. Like just everybody's point of view was so different going down there. And I think I lost some brain cells. I think I did. I was like, I need to stop looking at this because this is going to affect the way that I don't like it's affecting my brain. So they'll rip you apart. Oh, they will too, Dark Fairy. You're absolutely right. And TikTok, I'll stick with YouTube. I post TikToks every once in a while on the cases. Usually I just use my TikTok for like fun stuff, but I'll post on the case, and I've had people like stitch me, and I'm like, what the heck? Saying that I was like, my information was wrong. And I'm like, no, it's not wrong. Look at some stuff. We'll look together. But so I try not to get too much on TikTok, but I will get on there and post videos. And my girl Reba sent me a video for my birthday, and it was super fun. So tonight we're going to go ahead and cover some new things that came out regarding the Idaho 4 massacre. And then we're going to watch the podcast. So I thought this podcast was like going to be over with, but they just keep coming out with some episodes. So I love it. So this is, I think, episode 8 that we'll be working on tonight. So we'll go over some new things that have come out. And then we'll watch the podcast. So but before we do that, this lady had posted this message. I'm going to bring it up real quick. Let me see. So let me see where I need to bring up first. I don't really need to bring up anything. I'm going to share this, and then I'm just going to put him down because you're like, who's that guy? So this lady posted a message, like a message into the Idaho Murders subgroup or Facebook group. I'm used to Reddit. Facebook group. And it was a picture of Bryan's professor, John Snyder. And I just wanted to read through what she wrote about him and just kind of get your guys' opinion on it, because I'm just very curious now. So these are now deleted. So I had to type everything out. So we're going to pretend like this is a Facebook message. I word for worded that message. I reread it. And I had to go find a picture of, John Snyder too, because the whole, like the link has been down, the post. I can't think of what I'm saying because I'm never on Facebook. I haven't even been on Facebook since I haven't got on there at all. I said thank you to my brother yesterday for him saying happy birthday. So, and that was it. I don't get on there very often. So when it comes to Facebook, you guys are probably a lot better at it than I am. I would like to be in a Facebook group, but I'm scared. I don't get on Facebook. It's so sad on Facebook. Every time I get on there, it's sad. So I just try not to get on there. I come to YouTube. So this is John Snyder here. So these are all, like I said, now deleted. So the professor that she's talking about is John Snyder from WSU. Apparently, this professor was having issues with Bryan while Bryan was on campus. And so this lady puts a picture in this group on Facebook, and she puts his picture and then she attaches it with a post. And actually, I didn't make this bigger for you guys. Let me make this bigger so that you guys can actually read it with me if you want. And I'll space it out a little bit. Okay. So I had to write this out, like I said, on document, like on Word document, because they removed the post and I didn't save them the other day when I saw this. I didn't think, well, that was my first problem. I didn't think that to save it, but I should have, because you should always save something. If you see it, save it right then and there. But I was like, oh no, I'll just go back to it. And now it's not there. But thankfully, other people had it. So what I just had to end up doing was watch a video and then just type it all out word for word. So some of it might look a little silly, but we got it. So we'll get the gist of what she was trying to say. So her name is Susan Hunter, and this was on Facebook. And she says, ladies and gentlemen and cowardly anonymous posters, I present to you Professor John Snyder, Bryan's academic supervisor, and his WSU PhD program. And it says, blood relative to Sergeant Ryan Snyder over at Moscow PD and serving board member of the Whitman County Salary Commission, where he's part responsible for deciding the sheriff's financial compensation. So she's trying to, kind of say like, there's something funny with this. You'll be hard pushed to find a more influential individual with local law enforcement. What sort of verbal reference would a man like this give Bryan Kohberger? I put 2 R's there. I wonder if I contacted, this must be Ellie, not Ellie. I was speaking it. So I wonder if contacted by Ellie, since he was already implementing steps to have him eradicated from the criminology department before he even finished his first semester. Remind me what the litany of allegations were they? Failure to meet the norms of professional behavior, a verbal altercation with the professor, harsh grading of female students, made female students feel uncomfortable. And it says, just my opinion here, but I would have thought one word from Professor John Snyder would condemn a man already under scrutiny, and the fact he's invaded all scrutiny himself is quite astonishing. Figured I'd bring this to your guys' attention. Very weird. I'm gonna grab my drink. What was that, Ashley? Oh my man. Yeah, you're fine, Ashley. Oh my lordy. Kiss her eyes for me. I can't. Oh, a laser? Oh, Lord have mercy, girl. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, her vision's going. Mine's going too. Tell her mine's going. My eye was 2015, and y'all, it better be that when I go to the doctor next time. I do wear glasses for reading, and I'm reading right now and I'm not wearing them. This isn't very big. Sorry, I wish I would have made that a little bit bigger for you guys. But basically what she's saying is Bryan's professor is blood relative to Sergeant Ryan Snyder over at Moscow PD. Take with that with what you will. I don't know. But I know that this message came out, and then Kara Kernodle came out with a message on Facebook, and that's Xana's mom. And that message is now deleted. 1 second. Okay. Just want to make sure the reaction thing was off up there. So I don't know how I would take of this, but I think there's just going to be, I'm sure you'll hear the rumor mill will be coming in. So yeah, so of this document here, this is just someone's named Susan Hunter. Sorry about that. She actually made this post on Facebook, and she posted his picture, and then she posted like this underneath of it. And I think she's trying to insinuate that, there's something fishy going on with the PhD professor over at WSU. She's saying, there's a connection with the professor with Bryan at WSU. He has this connection. He's blood relatives with a sergeant over at Moscow PD that's in charge of giving out funding for all of the police and their investigations. Now, to me, that doesn't sound really out of the ordinary, out of the norm. I mean, people know people, but I wanted to bring that to your attention just so you guys would know too. And then this is who I was talking about. This is John Snyder. This is the professor at WSU, I guess, that had a conflict with Bryan. So also, Xana's mom, Kara, came out with she made like a comment. She was commenting in a Facebook post on one of the Idaho 4 like Facebook groups. And I wanted to read over that with you guys because it's very, very strange to me. I don't know. Have you guys heard of it? Have you guys seen the post from Xana's mom? Let me know if you guys have heard of it or like saw it. I put this word for word and I read through it, so it should be good. But so actually, let me show you this first. Okay, so the account that is posting this that I'm getting ready to read to you, and this is supposed to be from Kara Northington, Xana Kernodle's mother, and it does come from a Facebook page that was made in 2012. So it definitely could be her, her regular Facebook. Just has like these little pictures. It doesn't really have like a whole lot, but I guess we could go back. Well, see, so this might be June 29th, 2019, probably so. But I was going to say this, people can post pictures and, they can change things on a Facebook page. Like I have had my page since, I don't even know, 2010 or something, 2011. And if I wanted to, I could just change all my information on my page and it would still make, my page would still be considered old if you looked at it, but it could have someone else's pictures. But I think that this one is legitly her. I think this is her. And we haven't heard from her in a while. We haven't heard from Xana's mom. And so I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what she's thinks. I don't know if this is a good idea to put this kind of stuff out there. Just for the fact that I feel like if the officers, unless like they're not doing their job or something, like if the officers aren't doing their job, then yeah, maybe you should come forward and say something, get a lawyer to say something. But some of the stuff that she says in here, it's like, it's like, are you trying to almost stir up a lot? Like not saying anything's wrong with what she's doing because I'm not a mother and I've never had a child gone, but I'm going to read this to you. And she's like saying that you need to question this person, this person, this person, almost like she's on the defense's team. Like she was like sent in here to say these things. And I don't think that's what it is, but it's almost like that because she's like on the way opposite spectrum of where everyone else seems to be. Like, other family members seem like the, investigation's going well. It's going, on the right track. And then now we've got this little hiccup in the road. And I just know that a lot of people in this case, they like, there's a lot of rumors, it's been crazy. We're going on a year next month and it's still crazy. So I'm going to read through this with you guys. Let me share this. And tell me what you guys think. And I'll stop and we'll talk about it. So it says, find it very interesting as well. In fact, he should have to testify if you ask me. I said every single one of the fraternity members at Sigma Chi. While we're at it, anyone who was at the grub truck and the bar that night. It is, in my opinion, only responsible considering these people were the last people to see all of them alive. I find it very odd that none of them are speaking up about anything. I'm sorry, but it honestly blows my mind. Wouldn't you want to speak up about anything that was happening around them to help us better understand? I just do not get why everyone is so silent. Shaking my head. Okay, so I'm sorry. That was like one post. So this will be the second one. But I'm just like, where is this coming from? And what I'm thinking is maybe because the cops are not telling the family members a lot, because I think they're not telling them a lot because they're afraid, what if they slip and they let something slip, and they say something to somebody and then it gets out. Now, I don't know why they don't just restrict them to a gag order and then tell them everything they need to know. They could do that. I don't get it. But I don't get why she's coming out of left field. Like, this is left field to me anyway, saying like, you need to question this person. And it's like, I mean, they've ruled people out. They did have a list of people that they ruled out. So this is going to be about Bryan Kohberger's professor. And it says, the one we were just talking about. So shaking my head. One guy said, though, I find it very interesting how BK's professor or anyone who hang out with is say to my daughter and her friends, I might have said, sorry, this is kind of messed up, but not hardly a peep, not even something like, hey, yeah, I was at the bar and saw Kaylee and Maddie and spoke with them. Nothing. So she's wondering why, like, people aren't coming out, from the grub truck, from the bar, from Sigma Chi, and saying like, yeah, we were with them, or we saw them that night. Like, there's nobody, she's saying, coming out and saying that. And we've all kind of, questioned that and wondered why. And in my personal opinion, I think people might not be saying anything because they don't want to be involved in this. Like, people are going after people's family. If we're talking out friends, if that was me, I wouldn't. Let's just say I knew like Bryan Kohberger, I probably wouldn't come out and say I knew him. I wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? People would gang up on me. So, and then I think this name is supposed to say Logan, but she spelled it as Loach. So y'all let me know about that. So I'm about to read it though. It says, no one said, hey, yeah, I was at the bar and saw Kaylee and Maddie, spoke with them, nothing. Or, hey, yeah, Ethan and Xana were at Sigma Chi to a party. Ethan got in a bit of a scuffle with Loach, but Xana broke it up. No big deal. Does she mean Logan there? Because I do remember David Loach. Thank you, Brooke. I was like, could that be Logan? Okay, I thought maybe that was a typo. And I'm like, what? Thank you, David Loach. Okay, thank you. Steve changes his mind though a lot. Where did that comment go? I just saw David said, Steve Gonzalez certainly doesn't think things are going great. Like in one breath, he says he trusts the investigation and he thinks that they have the right person. And then in the next breath, he's saying, well, there might be more or something. I don't know. He's kind of wishy-washy when it comes to that, to me anyway. Nothing, I love the Gonzalez's, but sometimes he says one thing and then the next interview he'll say something else. But it says that Ethan got into a bit of a scuffle with Loach, but Xana broke it up. No big deal. Nothing. Yeah, and I know what happened because she happened to talk to her father that night when they left the party. I'm not saying it had anything to do with anything. That's why I want to know more about it, though. There is a whole lot that could be said and explained and therefore help answer questions. Oh, this is supposed to be like sorry. What if BK did not act alone? What if he was paid by someone to do it? What if he's innocent and someone's did it? There are still a whole lot of questions and not nearly enough answers. We simply do not know. I don't know. I don't know you. What am I reading? I do not know. At the moment, none of us do. Since when do we just not thoroughly investigate a crime, much less one so hard as this one? If you cannot see the logic in that, then I'm sorry and I pray to God nothing like this happens to your own child. This is my daughter, though. I want no stone left unturned. I'm going to make sure it won't be. I will. I would hope we all would be on the same page. And I don't know what she meant by the like. I would hope we would all be on the same page, but very strange. Could be. Was he? Loach was? Oh. Leaned again and watched an ad. Oh no. Okay, I didn't know who he was. I don't know why. I just didn't. Yeah, Rhonda, you're absolutely right. Right, Kaylee? Yeah, I think there's just too much backlash and stuff out there. Yeah. I think people are quiet just because of the fact that they don't want to be thrown into this case and just like have people, showing up at their family's doorsteps, their friends, JLR is on this case. He put in paperwork today for media for the Idaho site. And I was like, look at that. But they spelled his name wrong. They spelled it JRL. And I was like, no, that's JLR. So I guess he's going to be there at the court proceeding next time. So then I saw something else today. And I'm just going to leave it here with you guys because I don't know where to go with it. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but not yet anyway. So remember when was this? So 6 days ago, when the Howard Bloom article came out over all of that stuff with Steve Gonzalez. And in that same live, we went over text messages that were shared on their Facebook page. One of the girls was trying to get another girl by the name of Macy May to sabotage Steve Gonzalez. Sabotage him. And this Macy May girl, apparently, she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Her. I saw this on Facebook today under the Idaho Murders group. And she was just in there. She's just in there putting like documents in there. I'm not sure why, but I don't know how she's connected to this, but she's connected somehow. I think she's a little more than just like a person that knows some stuff. Because I've seen her on like a couple other people's pages. They were talking about it too. And then I saw her on here and I was like, oh, let's see if I can go to her page. Let's see what she's been putting. So it looks like all. This person said, are you related to Bri? Don't know why they asked that. Maybe I'll have to. Okay, well, yeah, I'll be going down this stinking rabbit hole probably tonight. So I'll just I saw that. I thought that too, American Princess. When I heard the name Macy May, I was like Maisie, but it's like Macy, like the store. And welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. There's just one more thing I was going to go over with you guys. All right, one more thing in the documents. We'll kind of go through those quickly. There's nothing really in there. And then Brian's aunt came out and said some stuff, I guess. I didn't get to read the article yet, so we're going to read that together. That'll be a little, you can see my reaction, my live reaction. And then we'll get to the podcast. And it's really good. I actually just listened to it right before the live. And I'll put up pictures and stuff for the podcast. That way it's a little easier for everyone to watch. So new documents did come out today. I'm going to refresh the page just in case. Okay. So these actually came out on the 17th, but I think that they dropped them today because I don't remember seeing these, but I don't know if I actually really looked yesterday. So I'm not going to lie. I might not have. The ones that we haven't went through are just the defendant's 8th supplemental request for discovery that was filed on the 12th. That's just them wanting more evidence. They've been doing this since, court's been going on. It's the defense asking for more evidence to be handed to them. They filed a motion to stipulate, I'm trying to think of the right word. Keep secret the exhibits. I can't think of the word. Sorry, guys. And then the newest documents is, the first one is an order media request from JLR. And it's just one of the media requests that we've seen before. It just says that he's read the Rule 45 of the Idaho Court Administrative Rules permitting cameras in courtroom. And this stems from people taking still shots of Bryan Kohberger, and then people getting a hold of them on the internet and zooming in on his buckle or something, or they're saying his fly, but I don't think that's what they were trying to look at. So now anytime somebody wants to do go in there for media and be considered media, they have to fill out one of these papers and just sign it. So I saw that today and I was like, well, look at that. Go JLR, get it, buddy. And then the other one is from News Nation. And let's see, who's this from? Is this from Brian Enton? No, I don't know who that is. To be determined. Oh, okay. So they don't know yet. But I guess everyone needs to read the rule then. They haven't decided who's going to be there. It says TBD. So to be determined is what I'm assuming. And these are pretty quick documents. There's not a whole lot of them. Okay, let me put me down here a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. And let me grab my glasses. I almost said my sunglasses. Sure, put the sunglasses on. You'll be able to read a lot better with those, Tanya. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in. Okay. This is the next one. Put my glasses on for a minute so we can, help the eyes. Oops, that's a little bit too much. Okay. This is stipulation for protective order. And I'm sorry, I should have highlighted these for you guys. I forgot to highlight them tonight. I usually highlight these all for you. Next time I'll remember. So this is stipulation for protective order. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and the above named defendant by and through his undersigned attorney of record, and hereby stipulate to the entry of a protective order regarding third-party medical records contained in the following discovery folders. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. It says third-party medical records. If anyone's in medical records, could you tell me what third party would be? Would it be a lawyer obtaining medical records through, instead of the patient, it would be or the courts? Would that be considered the third party? I'm not sure. So maybe you guys will be able to help. So he does come on in. He does say that. I used to give him so much crap. I used to give him a lot of crap, but he's starting to grow on me. They were taking pictures of his gold and blue, his tie. That's what it was. West, it was just pictures of the tie. We weren't trying to look at his crotch. I wasn't. I didn't even know about it until it came out in the document. And I was like, what? I was like, when did this happen? And then I went to Twitter and I found it, So it says that they want to stipulate the entry of a protective order regarding third-party medical records. So they want to seal something up. That's what I was looking for, the word seal. And it says in the following discovery folders, AV 000808 and 809. So audio-visual files, I'm assuming. This stipulation limits access to direct review by counsel or defense counsel, investigators, and retained experts, and any further dissemination or use of the reference medical records would be prohibited absent a specific court order or further stipulation of the parties. The parties recognize that further dissemination or use may require redaction prior to their dissemination or use. In all other respects, the provisions of the aforementioned prior orders shall remain in full force and effect. That was Ashley Jennings and Ann Taylor signed that. So, and then the next court hearings, the 26th, actually, and they're going to be trying to get the grand jury indictment dismissed. So that's probably why they're wanting these discovery folders, and they're wanting them sealed. So Ashley, they can see medical records when it has to do with like trial. So it has to be, to me. Okay, so like when we streamed Letitia Stalk's trial, we got to hear about her like her mental health, because she called that in as an expert witness. So they allowed her to, and then also if you're not alive, if you're a victim, like Gannon was a victim, they're allowed to talk about his medical. So that's why I'm thinking it's maybe Bryan Kohberger's, like somebody that would have to give an okay, like, yeah, you can use it. Jan said they either got they either subpoenaed them or got a release of information signed. Oh, good idea. Thank you, Jan. Thanks for telling me that. They just have to get that signed. Correct. All I has to do is sign consent. Okay. I knew Reba would probably know. She's the medical. That's what I was like, where's our medical girl? Wow. I think just specifically what they're probably pointing out, but yeah, like when he went to the doctor, right, Ozzy, the week after, after they were murdered, he did. And they said, as far as I remember, they said that he was acting fine. He was just acting like, I guess, Bryan Kohberger did. And then there was one more, and it's just a protective order. So I don't think it's really anything. Oh, is this the same thing I just read? No, but it looks like it. It almost looks like it. Protective order. And it says the above matter coming forth before the court, stipulation of the parties and good cause appearing, it is hereby ordered pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16 as follows. This protective order pertains to third-party medical records contained in the discovery folders AV000808 and then AV809 in the above titled case. A protective order is hereby entered limiting access of those records to direct review by defense counsel, investigators, and retained experts, and any further dissemination or use of the referenced medical records would be prohibited absent a specific court order to further stipulation of the parties. I want to know what's in them because I'm nosy. I'm like, what's in there? Now, they don't have a, I'm trying to think of the, like mental health defect. They don't have that defense in Idaho, but you can play off of that. And somehow I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that's what Lori Vallow tried to do. Because they're all crazies. But do you think that he could try to do a defense like that? That's not going to work. He cannot possibly do anything like a mental defect. You think that he could do insanity, Ozzy? I mean, he can try. Maybe he could say he was driving all night because he got lost because he's insane. He just drives around, just driving around. Yeah, he can't use it. Yeah. I know that there's like a way to use something though. Like it's not insanity, but it's something like it. I can't remember what Lori was trying to do in that case or in that instance off the top of my head. But yeah, Idaho doesn't have that. So that's just very weird. And it's also very ironic that they are going to finally execute that guy that they have on death row over there in Idaho for the last 40 years. So I guess they have like so many days to get the lethal injection medication. And if they don't get it, then they're going to use the firing squad. They'll probably get the medications. I don't see them using the firing squad. I really don't. I don't. Incompetent. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Thanks, West. Lori used incompetent to stand trial. But he can't be incompetent if he's a PhD student. I mean, like play the naive card. Do you think he can play the I'm stupid card? I don't know. Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. Thank you, Kaylee. Can he get a lesser sentence like no DP if he isn't found competent? I think that you're right. Yeah, and he understood because she asked, Megan Marshall asked, and Judge asked him, like Wiss said, if you claim and you're incompetent to stand trial, that means you don't understand the proceedings and the charges against you. Yeah, like, and they all made sure that he understood exactly what was happening. So I just wanted to, okay, thanks guys. You guys are the best. See, this is better than Facebook group. Y'all are nice. They're just, oh my, I was in the group and I was just like, whoa, all of the posts were just so different. Like just far left, far right, I guess. There wasn't really anybody in the middle. I try to stay as neutral as I can, as much as I can. Bell Moon, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think he would want to be known as incompetent. I think you're right. Yeah, he signed papers saying that he understood. Yeah. And he's a PhD student, you know, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So it says Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger's aunt. This is about his aunt coming forward. I haven't read this yet, but I heard that she's come forward and said some stuff to the U.S. Sun. So take it with a grain of salt. Everything I say, take it with a grain of salt, you know, because this isn't concrete. But apparently his aunt's come out. And when I heard that, I was like, well, where's she been the last year? No one's talked in his family other than his parents sending out that ridiculous, we think our son's innocent, but we're sorry for your kids, you know, message. And that was it. Like no one's stuck up for this guy. Like, I mean, you think someone would. I'm sorry, but as a mother, if I was a mother and my kid was accused of unaliving 4 college kids in their sleep, in their bed one night in the dead of winter, you know, I would be out. I would be screaming from the rooftops. My kid did not do that. That's just me. That's just me. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut. So maybe that's why the aunt's coming forward. Now, do you guys remember in the beginning of this case when they said that Bryan Kohberger made his aunt and uncle get new pots and pans because he didn't like to eat meat product? He wouldn't touch them because they had meat products cooked in them before. That was an aunt and uncle. So I'm wondering if this is the same aunt that had to change out her pots and pans. So it says Bryan Kohberger's aunt has reportedly aired her belief that her nephew will be found guilty at his highly anticipated trial for allegedly brutally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death as they slept. The declaration provided to the U.S. Sun, comes 9 months after Kohberger's defense attorney waived his right to a speedy trial, canceling his previously planned trial date of October 2nd. Now slated for next year, the earliest the trial is at the forefront of Kohberger's family's minds, including those on his father's side, who for the most part live in Las Vegas. The tabloid recently traveled to the city to speak with those relatives, successfully finding one who wished to remain anonymous but expressed doubt over the 28-year-old's innocence. Speaking to the publication, the woman described how she has struggled to watch the news as of late, citing her increasing belief Kohberger committed the murders. I don't remember seeing that picture of him. Oh, that picture is so sad. When I saw it on TV, I was just lost for words, she told the paper in person, adding that she has been left speechless as new details in the case continue to emerge. It's heartbreaking. I'm a very caring person. The outlet noted how she appeared visibly upset during the interview, which came as other relatives called the case surreal, while reportedly trying to distance themselves. And when I saw the news a little bit today in the living room, the aunt added, I couldn't take it. Hearing about them being knifed, I had goosebumps. I just cried. The term them, of course, referred to the 4 murdered that fateful night, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, also 21, and 20-year-old Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin. Prosecutors and the Gem State are looking to prove Kohberger broke into the group's shared home in the early hours of November 13th before savagely murdering them and fleeing the scene. Airing her belief that her nephew might still kill himself. What? She thinks what? Hold on. He would have already done it. Airing her belief that her nephew might still kill himself. The unnamed aunt told the Sun that she will likely not watch the trial if things get that far and if cameras are even allowed in the courtroom. Huh. Um, yes. Bethany, I believe. Wait, Lindsay, now that you said that, I don't know which one it was. Bethany, I believe, was in Vegas. It's weird because Xana Kernodle's mom, I just thought of that. She's in Vegas. Hold on. I still have it up. Look at this. From Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up with everybody being in Nevada? I mean, maybe it's just kind of like, I don't know, if you just, they're, states away. So, I mean, they're right next to each other. Maybe that's what it is. I wonder how far of a distance that would be. It's very weird. You're right. That's very strange. There's a lot of people from there. And even like Bryan Kohberger having family all the way out there, where were we at? She also said she wants to know the answer to questions still surrounding the murders, such as her nephew's perspective motive, if he did carry out the murders, and what he may have done with the murder weapon. Well, she wants to know what we want to know. When asked if she thought Kohberger will be found guilty during what's said to be an at least 6-week trial, she said, "I think so. I just want the truth." She added, "I would like to see him or write to him and find out what happened." Well, you can write to him all you want. Kohberger, meanwhile, has maintained his innocence in this case, and due to the sprawling gag order, few details have emerged. Oops. His aunt, however, provided insight into his life before the killing, describing the suspected killer as humble and quiet. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't actually said something himself, Kohberger. She recalled, "I didn't see any violence in him," before mentioning some odd behavior she noticed on his part in recent years. She, after having migrated from the East Coast while Kohberger's parents, Michael and Mary Ann, and his 3 siblings remained in Pennsylvania, confided, "I flew Bryan and his family out here a few times. Once I told Bryan I would show him all around Vegas," she went on. "But the odd thing was he stayed in the house." She proceeded to tell the paper how she believed that her nephew's behavior was a result of drugs he may have been taking at the time, probably, as well as a lot of drama going on between the family, which she said she cannot reveal for legal reasons. Oh. She did, however, say the family was devastated over the case and the criminology student's arrest, after which Kohberger chose to stand silent in lieu of entering a not guilty plea, which was then entered on his behalf. Also elaborated on was Kohberger's currently shrouded childhood, during which the woman said that the then teen was noticeably shy and troubled. She also said at the time the suspect suffered from depression to the point where he was allegedly put on medication, though she admitted she did not know if that was entirely true or what drugs he had been on. Well, he was on heroin, honey, we know. She quickly added, if you're not on the right medication, you can be triggered. I think he may have snapped. No, we're not blaming this auntie on he didn't have the right medication, because in order to get the right medication, you got to go to the doctor. And this ain't from medication, not having your medication. Like, if you're not, she said, but if you're not on the right medication, you can be triggered. I'm not on the right medication and I'm not triggered. We've been trying to work this stuff out for 10 years and I'm not triggered. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not out there hurting anybody. Even if I had a day I didn't feel good, mentally health, bad day, no, I'm not going to go knife 4 people in their sleep. That's a planned execution, buddy. That's planned. That's not I snapped. You don't snap and go into someone's home that you don't know and go unalive 4 people while they're sleeping. Why do people's family members upset me sometimes? Just like Madalena Kojikari's grandmother. She continued, Michael, his dad, is a wonderful man. He was a janitor and his wife is a beautiful woman. She's a teacher and they worked at the same school. I don't think I don't know if we watched that, but conceding her nephew is not well. She said that her heart goes out to the victims' families due to the pronounced pain that they are likely facing. Prosecutors, meanwhile, claim in court documents that a DNA sample taken from the crime scene is a near match from a sample from Kohberger, who was arrested this past December after being tracked down to his family's home in the Poconos. Currently in custody, Kohberger was pictured wearing a suicide prevention vest while being held at the Monroe County Correctional Facility following his initial arrest, while his lawyer maintains his innocence. They do that with every high-profile criminal. Yeah. I don't think he said anything to get in that turtle vest. I think they just put it on him. They wanted to make sure they got him from Pennsylvania back to Idaho, one piece. And then they were done. After he's on the plane, Pennsylvania is done with him. Police had to work backwards from the DNA sample to build a profile of hundreds, if not thousands, of people who could have matched it before honing in on Kohberger, who was living near the murder scene at the time and had the same car as witnesses had seen. Just want to make sure we're good here. Okay. One of the surviving roommates who was not attacked also said she saw the killer and that he had bushy eyebrows, another feature of Kohberger's appearance. Kohberger isn't claiming to be in any specific location at any specific time, according to the document, and may have witnesses who can corroborate that he wasn't at the home where the students were killed. He said that if he can find them, then he'll have them. His defense team has gone over transcripts of grand jury testimony and other evidence from the investigation. That says thought, but it's supposed to be though. Though it is too soon to detail exactly who those witnesses might be and what they might be able to testify about. A new date for the trial has yet to be set. I hate that they use the word indefinitely. No, it's not indefinitely postponed. We're going to get there. That makes it sound like we're never getting there. It's bye-bye. No trial. That's what makes me think of. But thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to put it on the podcast here in just a moment. If you guys don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button, it really does help the channel grow, and it's free to do. Yesterday, I could use the excuse it was my birthday, but today I guess it's not. I can't use that excuse. But it's Sweetest Day. Happy Sweetest Day, everybody. I forgot. Isn't it today Sweetest Day, the 18th? Pretty sure. If it isn't, happy Sweetest Day anyway. It is Sweetest Day. Where's my flowers, Vincent? Just kidding. I don't even think he knew. That's so funny. Look, where's my flowers? Made up holiday, maybe. It might be made up. I don't know. Made up by somebody, though. So let me get the Idaho podcast one here. And then they actually came out with 2 more. So what we'll do tonight is we'll listen to one. This is going to be the conclusion of season 1. And then the next 2, we'll listen to them back to back. It'll be part 1 and 2 of like an overall discussion that they're having on the case. And those were really, really good. So as we're watching this, I will put up pictures and stuff so that way you guys have something to watch and look at. And for our next podcast, I'll have to download some more pictures, some new ones. Really, Encyclopedia? Oh, tell him happy birthday. Oh, that's so nice. I got a birthday twin. Okay, and I don't have any control over the volume, so it might be a little loud when it comes on. So just be careful there if you're wearing AirPods. Also, y'all, I forgot to tell you. Tomorrow night, we're doing Long Island. I don't know if y'all saw the presser today, but wow. Y'all, tomorrow it's going to be a good live. So make sure you hit the notification button, got the subscribe on there, all that good stuff. Because if I wouldn't have put up a post today saying, like, what do you guys want to do tonight? We would have done Long Island, because what I heard today, I didn't even get to hear all of it. I only heard half of the presser, and I was like, oh. So very crazy. Well, thank you. Libras are the best, Ozzy. They really are. We handle a lot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And thank you guys again, like I said, for being here tonight. I should really refresh the page up there. I'm going to pause it just.
Hyundai is back. Other factors, call 56232 with an acceptable trade-in every year.
Warning, this product contains nicotine.
I think there's just a commercial in the beginning, and that's it.
Nicotine.
Studios and iHeartRadio. Episode 10, Building a Defense. I'm Courtney Armstrong, a television producer at KT Studios with Stephanie Lydecker, Jeff Shane, and Connor Powell. When Bryan Kohberger walked into the courtroom on the afternoon of Tuesday, June 27th, he looked different. He carried himself differently. Flanked by his defense team, Ann Taylor, Jay Logsdon, and Alyssa Masseth, Kohberger entered the courtroom wearing a dark suit and tie with a white dress shirt. His face was clean-shaven, his hair styled with gel. Gone was the bright orange prison jumpsuit that the 28-year-old quadruple murder suspect had worn for most of his previous court appearances. In another world, the former PhD criminology student looked like he could be testifying as an expert witness for another case, rather than appearing as a murder suspect. But on June 27th, Kohberger, who was accused of brutally murdering Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Nathan Chapin, was simply in the Leda County courtroom to listen to his lawyers begin to lay out their defense and fight to keep him from being executed.
All rise. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Good afternoon, everybody. So this is State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. Mr. Kohberger is in the court.
In the days leading up to this much-anticipated hearing, there was speculation that Kohberger's defense team would ask the judge to force the prosecution to provide information and documents on a wide range of topics. However, before the defense and prosecution made their presentations to Judge John Judge, he first addressed the issue of cameras in the courtroom. A month earlier, Kohberger's defense team had asked the judge to remove press cameras. They worried the continued focus on Kohberger might prejudice potential jurors against Kohberger at his trial, especially as analysts, legal commentators, and social media influencers pick apart Kohberger's body language and every blink of his eye. Yet a month after the defense made the request, the judge had not made a decision, instead opting to warn at the start of the hearing about how the media should conduct themselves and cover the courtroom.
I have deferred my decision about cameras. One of the things that's going to be really important, that is very important, is that the people with the camera and media need to follow the rules. And we've had some issues where people were pushing the envelope, particularly focusing on the tables where counsel sits. I would prefer, if you want to continue to have cameras in this courtroom, is to back off, make sure that we just have the totality of what is happening in the court, and not just focus, for example, on Mr. Kohberger's face.
With the media warned, the hearing turned to the defense's motions. In the days leading up to this much-anticipated hearing, there was speculation that Kohberger's defense team would ask the judge to force the prosecution to provide information and documents on a wide range of topics, from the investigation into the suspected white vehicle, to the grand jury proceedings, to cell phone data, to the FBI's DNA records. For weeks, Kohberger's defense team had been sending signals that they were unhappy with the slow pace that the prosecution had been turning over key documents. Here's defense attorney Ann Taylor.
And during the course of the last several months, there has been a lot of discovery that's been requested and a lot that's been supplied. I come here asking the court to compel discovery. I'm seeking an order directing that we receive this discovery. I'm not seeking any other kind of sanction. I don't come here saying that the prosecutor has done something wrong. I come here saying that there are things that we have a disagreement about whether I should get them or when I should get them, and we seek a court order to assist us in this regard.
Once the hearing started, defense attorney Ann Taylor limited the scope of her request to two single topics. First, she requested the prosecution turn over the investigative and training records for 3 specific Idaho police officers.
I wanted the Court of Counsel to be aware it's not a fishing expedition. These are real items that are really necessary to investigate this case and prepare Mr. Kohberger's defense.
Taylor argued the defense needed more information about the criminal investigation that led to Kohberger's arrest in December of 2022 and these 3 officers, since they were at the center of that investigation. Taylor said one officer interviewed a key witness at the scene of the murders, and another conducted dozens of interviews with witnesses and attended the victims' autopsies.
Your Honor, we have not asked for training records for every officer that has had anything to do with the case. I would not want to stand here and let the court think that this is an exhaustive list of the officers that we might need training records for. But these are 3 officers that we've requested it for, and the state has indicated they're not willing to get us the training records. These 3 officers are officers that have each conducted critical interviews with critical witnesses in the case, made decisions about the interviews, made decisions about evidence, and conducted other kinds of investigations. We seek their training records to understand their processes.
Taylor added that this request is not unusual, nor did she believe it was a particularly difficult request.
I have often received training records for Idaho State police officers in the preparation of other cases during the course of my career. They are imperative for us to understand the specialty in interrogating and interviewing people, and for making the decisions that they make with regard to things taken as evidence in the case, or things followed up on or not followed up on.
Leda County Deputy Prosecutor Ashley Jennings, however, responded and said that none of these officers would be called to testify at the trial, and that hundreds of officers worked on the investigation that led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. She said she feared this motion could become a burden for the prosecution.
Our concern with allowing training records for these few, which we can't understand why there's a substantial need for these particular ones, wouldn't open the door to us then having to go and obtain training records for these hundreds of investigative officers who've been involved, some of which are outside of our control.
Taylor pushed back on this concern and reminded the court that Kohberger was facing the death penalty.
And as the court is aware, the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death against Mr. Kohberger. These are critical, relevant materials, all of them, including the police training records. They're necessary for us to prepare and present our defense of Mr. Kohberger. They're necessary for us to do our investigation. They're necessary for us to prepare our case and our motion package moving forward. These are things that we need to have. There is a heightened standard now that the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death, and these are very relevant, critical bits of information. They are discoverable, and we're asking the court to order that they be supplied to us.
Judge Don Judge said he would consider both sides of the argument and would issue a written decision at a later date. After asking the court to force the prosecution to provide the Idaho police training records, Ann Taylor also asked the judge to rule on 2 previous requests regarding FBI records. Taylor asked for records from the FBI's Cellular Analysis Survey team. The CAS team had been brought in to help process data from Kohberger's mobile phone.
These are bits of investigation that the FBI conducted that relate to Mr. Kohberger's cell phone, and the state has relied on that in their affidavit to say that Mr. Kohberger was in certain places at certain times.
The original requests for FBI cell phone data and white Hyundai vehicle information was made weeks prior.
So these are bits of information and analysis that's been done since December. We are now at the end of June. We do not have those records yet, Your Honor. They are something that's been relied upon by the state for the PC affidavit to arrest Mr. Kohberger, as well as to obtain a variety of search warrants. It's information that the state has agreed we should have, so we ask the court for an order with a deadline to get that.
Prosecution, however, insisted they had turned over everything in their possession.
We have discovered approximately about 13,000 pages of reports, 13,000 photographs, over 10,000 tips, and over 51 terabytes of audio and video information. Ms. Taylor has everything that we have. What she is seeking is a specific report from the FBI CAS team, which I have indicated to her is in its final stages of review. And we are anticipating receiving sooner rather than later. And as soon as we do, we will turn that over.
Judge John Judge ruled on the spot for the defense and suggested the FBI documents relating to the cell phone data and white Hyundai Elantra vehicle information should be turned over no later than July 14th. Here's Jeff and Stephanie.
Since we haven't had a substantial update on this case in a while, there was a lot of hype for this hearing. And while it was substantial, it didn't quite have the same oomph we thought it might.
To your point, it was extremely short, just 30 minutes. For note, pretrial hearings can last anywhere from 2 minutes to 2 hours, depending upon the complexity of the case. But since there was seemingly a lot to cover, this went much shorter than expected.
Well, that could be because a lot of what we thought might get brought up didn't. Remember, 3 days after the announcement of the indictment back in May, the defense asked for 34 specific pieces of information from the grand jury proceedings. All of the transcripts, recordings, and evidence, even the jurors' names. Originally, the defense request for grand jury information was supposed to be part of the hearing on the 27th, but then it wasn't. Though it does appear that the lawyers are talking behind the scenes to try to come up with an agreement on this issue.
The other big issue that we thought was going to be part of the hearing, and this is a big one, was the defense's request for the documents related to the DNA and the FBI's effort to build out this family tree like we discussed earlier. That family tree is what led investigators to Kohberger. The state ended up asking for more time to respond, and the judge granted it.
But the issue of the DNA, how it was collected, how it was handled, and how it was used seems to be a growing issue, and it is not going away anytime soon.
So I believe there has to be a pretrial hearing in terms of determining whether or not this is good or whether it is outside the ability to say, yes, the procedure they used was proper and the eventual swab that they used for traditional DNA is admissible. That's going to be a serious, because this is a DNA case.
Since the first time DNA was used in 1987 to convict a suspect in the United States, DNA has played a major role in criminal investigations and in securing convictions. While the statistical connection between the DNA taken from the knife sheath found at the crime scene and the DNA taken from Bryan Kohberger's cheek seems very straightforward and in line with how DNA is usually used in criminal investigations, attorney and former prosecutor Stephen Greenberg says there could be a small chance this DNA evidence is not even admissible at Kohberger's trial because of the unique role the FBI played in narrowing the search down to Bryan Kohberger. Here's Stephen Greenberg.
There has to be a pretrial.
I forgot to tell you guys this part before I started the podcast. They're going to talk about the Linda Lane footage. But me personally, I don't think any of that is really correct. I think that's all been altered and stuff. So that's just my own personal opinion on it. But I wanted to give you my opinion on it before he starts talking about it. But yeah, and let me know what you guys think about that footage as well. But they'll be talking about it here in just a moment.
Hearing in terms of whether or not the DNA evidence will be admissible at all because of the way they got there. There's a number of issues that come into play because if you remember, they tried a whole number of things before they outsourced this to the Bureau. And let's remember this, you know, the FBI is federal. This is not a federal case. There's no U.S. attorney involved. This is a state prosecution in a small town in Idaho, and I'm not so sure how sophisticated the police and prosecutors are. There's a chain of custody issue because, you know, they sent this thing out, and who knows where it went? Who knows who was using it?
Let's stop here for a break. We'll be back in a moment.
There's no sign of identity theft slowing down. And why should it? Identity theft.
6. It has a range of... No, wait, you can... 4603 for complete details. Your bestie club.
Very small amount on the... After local investigators found the knife sheath cover under Madison Mogan's comforter, they checked it for DNA and found a very small amount on the button of the knife sheath. Investigators then ran the DNA through a national criminal database, but the DNA from the knife sheath did not produce any matches. Instead of giving up, the DNA information was then sent to the FBI, who passed it on to a private laboratory named Othram, which then began to look for relatives of the DNA sequence in publicly available genealogy databases. Ultimately, genetic genealogists combed through hundreds of names connected to the DNA and narrowed down the likely DNA profile to Bryan Kohberger. Greenberg says because this type of genetic genealogy method is so new and untested in the courts, the defense will likely challenge its admissibility in a pretrial hearing and will put both FBI and Othram officials under oath.
There will have to be evidentiary hearings because it's all going to go to the issue of whether the court's going to let in this evidence. The judge will have to have pretrial hearings, and these people will be on the stand because it goes to the heart of the case in terms of the issues that we've been talking about. So now they'll take the stand pre-trial and they'll take the stand during the trial.
And even if the judge allows the DNA to be used in the trial, Kohberger's defense is likely to challenge it at every turn.
There were a universe of other people who came up when they did the non-traditional, the genetic. And why can't we have those names? Did they follow up on anybody other than this one defendant? So yeah, the issues, even if the judge allows it in, that will be cross-examination material for the defense. So if the main issue and the only issue by which a jury can find this guy guilty beyond a reasonable doubt is DNA, however, all they need is one juror for a mistrial. And if the judge does let it in, it's still going to be they're going to open on it, they're going to cross-examine on it, and they're going to close on it because that's the case.
The Kohberger defense team cannot challenge the DNA in a pretrial hearing until it receives all of the FBI and Othram paperwork from the prosecution. And so far, the prosecution has refused to turn over the FBI documents, claiming they don't have the information, hinting that the FBI hadn't or wouldn't turn over the information. Instead, the prosecution has asked the judge to allow for more time to respond to the defense's request. Greenberg says the delay in turning over DNA information is unusual and unlike the FBI, which has a long history of being on the cutting edge of using science to solve crimes.
Makes no sense to me. Well, let's remember this. The responsibility is the prosecutors. The FBI here was acting as an independent contractor, right? They weren't investigating the case as they would if it were a federal case. They were just asked to do this one particular task. So whoever they reported to was somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's the prosecutor's responsibility to see to it that they get all the information they need. Would the FBI actually withhold information from the people who hired them to do the lab work, that being the prosecutor? Makes no sense to me. No sense at all.
And if for some reason the FBI is reluctant and doesn't want to turn over the genetic genealogy information, Greenberg says the Bureau won't have a choice if the judge orders the information to be turned over to the defense.
Everybody who was within the jurisdiction of that court, which obviously the FBI in this case is because they put themselves into the case. The law of the case is what the judge says it is, okay? He says turn it over, they turn it over.
But with the start of the trial nearing, the clock is ticking, and every day which the defense is without this key DNA information makes the October 2nd start date for the trial more and more unlikely.
Kohberger's lawyers asked, and the judge said yes.
1 week after the June 27th pretrial hearing, Bryan Kohberger's defense team scored a small but potentially important victory. Judge John Judge ruled that the prosecution must give the Kohberger's defense team access to the training records of the 3 Idaho police investigators the defense team deemed are at the center of the investigation. The judge set a July 14th deadline, writing that the defense adequately articulated the role each of the officers played in interviewing witnesses and finding and collecting potential evidence. However, the issue of the FBI DNA documentation was still left unresolved.
It's an important victory. And the reason is, what they're going to try to prove is that either these police officers who were first on the scene were inexperienced, or that these police on the scene at first didn't follow whatever training information they were given. But the long and short of it is there's going to be a serious issue about how the crime scene was handled and how well trained these particular officers were. And obviously the judge felt this was important, or he wouldn't have ordered turnover of this material.
Defense attorney Ann Taylor argued a week earlier at the pretrial hearing that the defense needed to better understand the methods the investigators used to exclude other suspects and to zero in on Kohberger. Stephanie and Jeff, followed by Stephen Greenberg.
Does this mean that the defense is going to go after the detectives? Are they just trying to question the motives of the detectives? It seems like such a stretch. It reminds me of the O.J. Simpson trial, for example, when they went after LAPD detective Mark Furman back in the day. Again, is this strategy or a stretch?
The defense's job is to explore every possible angle, and we don't know exactly what their strategy is yet, but this request certainly points in that direction.
All that to be said, it must be so difficult for the family members to be listening to all of the back and forth, and we just want to be clear that our hearts go out to all of them.
Is the defense going to go after the police? Well, they're not going to go after the police per se, but they're going to go after the individual officers who were responsible for being the first on this crime scene and handling evidence.
In a previous court filing, the defense tried to undermine and poke holes in the state's case against Kohberger by accusing the prosecution of not being transparent and hiding their entire case. They have also, in pretrial motions, raised issues about how investigators used the DNA sample to zero in on Kohberger. Attorney Stephen Greenberg says this is likely part of a defense strategy to attack not the final conclusions of the DNA results, but the initial process of collecting and analyzing the DNA from the crime scene.
I do believe that if the judge lets in the DNA evidence, things like this, in terms of casting doubt on how the entire investigatory process was handled, goes into this whole issue of, is the DNA any good or is it not any good? Did they purposely focus on this guy? Are there other putative defendants out there? So that is why the judge, I believe, turned it over. And I think it's an important victory for the public defender's office. Is it a good idea to go after the police? And I would say, if you're an inexperienced lawyer, yeah, you might do that. An experienced lawyer will not go after the police per se as a particular group of individuals who are responsible for taking care of our safety, but rather the particular officers who were involved.
Let's stop here for another break.
Hey, this is Lance Bass from Frosted Tips. So my husband Michael and I just took an amazing road trip to the
I didn't realize this had a commercial, but I'm going to let it play through because it's towards the end. And if I fast forward it through, it'll skip the ending. So sorry that you guys have to listen to the commercial though. But while you're waiting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you appreciate the case coverage, we do have more podcasts to play as well. Not tonight, but we will play them on the channel. And don't forget to like the video if you guys don't mind. That would be really great. It's free to do and it really helps my channel grow. Thanks, guys.
the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Vegas. And thanks to Hyundai, we were able to record a special episode just for you guys along the way. We're so excited to take you on this journey with us. You're not going to want to miss this one, right, babe?
No, you won't.
Here's a quick preview. You can listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, I love memory lane.
God.
Let's go down it.
Take us back to the NSYNC tour bus days.
Look, I loved being on the tour bus. I don't sleep better than when I'm on a bus. And then your friends get to join you on the road and family. That was always fun because especially during the height of NSYNC, my friends were in college. So they would jump on the road with us, a few dates, and have the best time ever. But I also had to share a bus with Joey Fatone. But the good thing is eventually when we made it, we had a bus that had a shower on it.
This episode is brought to you by the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6.
Latinos around the world love to start the day with a great breakfast. That's why Kellogg's is on mom's tables aquí y allá. El sabor de los cereales Kellogg's brings us together just like the My Cultura podcast network and its incredible anniversary event, featuring Locatora Radio, the Super Secret Bestie Club, and Chiquis and Chill podcast.
We have an awesome night. Shout out to Locatora Radio.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the 2-year anniversary of the My Cultura podcast network.
The Super Secret Bestie Club. Happy birthday, My Cultura. Chiquis and Chill, make some noise.
What's up? ¿Cómo están? Very first live podcast, you guys. I'm so nervous.
Kellogg's on mom's tables aquí y allá.
Want to get rid of that smelly foot fungus? With Smooth AF, you can. A quarter of Americans suffer from athlete's foot. Old foot sprays and creams don't cut it. Smooth AF's revolutionary alcohol-free total foot care wipes clean, condition, and revitalize your feet, as well as cure and prevent athlete's foot. Clinically proven maximum strength Smooth AF eliminates odor and leaves feet clean and fresh. Great for diabetics too. Don't suffer in silence. Go to GetSmoothAF.com and get relief shipped right to your door.
One week after the hearing, as Americans across the country were celebrating the 4th of July, an eerie video was uploaded to the internet. The leaked surveillance footage from a nearby apartment complex at 1330 Linda Lane appears to capture the moments before, during, and after the grisly murders. The security camera is from a parking lot just a few hundred yards away from the 3-story house on King Road, and it is just one of several camera views investigators have access to. This video cannot be independently verified, and due to the gag order, a verification is unlikely. Though it is time-stamped Sunday, November 13th, 2022, and begins at 3:59 in the morning. Since being posted, this video has been removed countless times. Much of what appears in the footage lines up with official statements from the probable cause affidavit. In fact, the leaked video seems to validate key parts of the PCA. On an otherwise dark and quiet night, the first sign of movement in the video comes at roughly 4:05 a.m. A light, possibly white sedan pulls up on the street in front of the camera. Its headlights light up the screen. The vehicle stops for a few seconds, at least 5, before turning around and driving away. According to the probable cause affidavit, suspect vehicle 1, as Kohberger's car is described by the document, was seen on other cameras in the area as early as 3:29 a.m. The PCA says vehicle 1 makes 3 initial passes by the 1122 King Road residence. Then, during a 4th pass at 4:04 a.m., vehicle number 1 is seen unsuccessfully trying to park in front of a nearby apartment complex before turning around. This appears to be the sequence caught on the leaked video. About 90 seconds later, at 4:07 a.m., there is a sound of a short car horn, and the camera at 1330 Linda Lane again captures a vehicle driving by. This time, the vehicle does not stop and instead continues driving back towards King Road, though it isn't clear if this is vehicle number 1 and Bryan Kohberger. The PCA does not mention a 5th loop around the neighborhood. At 4:13 a.m., the camera appears to pick up the sound of a car. That could possibly be Xana Kernodle's food driver departing after dropping off her DoorDash order at 4:12 a.m. Over the course of the next few minutes, the camera picks up multiple sounds. Though none are clear, there are odd sounds and thuds. At 4:21 a.m., there is a loud sound that appears to be a car quickly moving. According to the probable cause affidavits, this sound happens at the exact time another camera angle shows suspect vehicle 1 leaving the neighborhood at a very high rate of speed. But this isn't the final sound. Roughly 2 minutes later, at 4:23, at the exact time investigators say the crime was ending, someone gets into a large dark vehicle, likely an SUV, outside of the Linda Lane security camera. First, you hear the door slamming, then the engine starting. The car leaves quickly, but by no means is it speeding away or driving recklessly out of the parking lot. So who was this person? Did they live in one of the nearby apartments? Where were they going, and where had they been? There is no mention of anyone else in the probable cause affidavit. Were they just an innocent bystander, completely unaware of the horrific murders that had just happened a few yards away? And did police identify this individual and the vehicle? Did police talk to and clear this person? Or was this individual somehow connected to the brutal murders of 4 young students with a lifetime of opportunity ahead of them? Did Bryan Kohberger have an accessory to murder? And is there DNA that can prove it? More on that next time. For more information on the case and relevant photos, follow us on Instagram at KT.
Okay, I just have to get the banner down. here. And then turn my camera back on. And there I am. There we are. We're back. We're back. We're back. So I don't know, they said a lot in that podcast, but at the end when they were talking about the Linda Lane footage, I mean, it doesn't match up even with the PCA, she said. Like, so I don't know. I'd rather watch paint dry. Y'all know how I feel about that. Because if I can't see something, I'm not going to pretend like I can see something when I don't see it there. But that's just me. But I know that there was like 5 hours worth of Linda Lane footage at one point, and to me that makes no sense to be watching that much footage of nothing. But so I am waiting on the prosser to come back for Vandersloot for the Natalie Holloway case. Jorge Vandersloot, he went ahead and he pled guilty. Not to get on to another case, but I just wanted to tell you that real quick. He did do like a confession, and it was an audio. So I may do a pre-recorded and just get that out for you guys tonight or tomorrow morning, and then do it on our live as well. That way you guys will have it, because that's crazy. DoorDash entering the property. Why don't we have it? That's a good question. I don't think that they would have it on video there, but they would have it on video at 1112 King Road. And we did actually on this channel, we did an experiment, and we got a camera, the same light bulb camera that they had at 1112. And we did our own experiments. We plugged it in outside, and I had it facing towards this back parking lot that I have. And I did some stuff back there. And those are all under my Idaho playlist. We've done so many videos on Idaho. I don't even know how many there are in there. I don't even know. There's a lot. But we cover so many cases on the channel, so many different cases. But I was going to actually tell you guys a little bit about them. So we're covering a lot over here. So we need to do a Ruby Frank update. I need to do one of those for you guys. There's nothing really going on as of right now with like Crystal Rogers, Suzanne Morphew. I haven't seen anything. Delphi murders, we need to go over that, because we need to go over the live that I did the other night. That's no longer there. We need to go over that. That's some major stuff. Major problem there. Charlotte Cena, she's back with her family. So as far as that's concerned, right as of right now, they have the suspect in custody. Just kind of going through the cases that we cover. But we do cover a lot. We cover a lot of different cases. So many. I just saw one from Madalena Kojikari. They need to find her too. Oh, Lindsay, I wish you did too. I'm glad you guys are here now. This is awesome. And I do have old videos if you ever want to go watch those. Oh, Lordy. Me and Vincent were watching them last night. I've never watched a full video of myself back ever, other than maybe one or two now at this point. But I never had done it. And it's just so funny to watch. Like just the growing of the channel, and like just the different backgrounds. I've had a lot of different backgrounds. Rachel Morin, thank you, Doodlebug. Thank you. I didn't hit the next page on my list. I was like, that's a lot of stuff. But we do cover a lot of cases. Long Island serial killer. We're going to do that one tomorrow, because that's off the wall stuff we're said today. I need to listen to the rest of the press conference. I'm going to try to see if I can get it enhanced, or see if they have an enhanced version of it. If not, I may just put my microphone over towards the speaker so it's louder for you guys, because it was a little quiet to me. Just a little quiet when I heard it today, but not a lot. It wasn't too bad. But I think that's all that I have for you guys for tonight. Let me see. That is. We went over a good bit. Oh, and Chelsea Grimm. That's another case that we're covering. Missing out of Arizona. Man, I wish they would find something with her too. Thanks, Rhonda. She said happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, look, this is my new shirt I'm wearing tonight. Vincent's mom got me this shirt for my birthday. And it's so soft. I'm like, oh, it's comfortable. Like it's soft and it's comfortable, and that's all I could ask for. Because I'm really weird when it comes to like fabrics. I'm just really I'm like what do they call that? Where you have kids get it, like sensory issues. I have sensory issues. I'm 38 and I still have sensory issues, but it's a thing. So like when kids, I believe kids, when they say they don't want to wear jeans or they don't want to wear like a certain fabric or a shirt, I understand that. Yeah, of course. See if this one will work. If you're on your cell phone though, Lindsay, you'll have to do it through the YouTube, like Safari. So go to Safari and then go to YouTube. And then go to my page from there. For some reason, it makes it do it differently than that. Thanks, Doodlebug. I thought the color was pretty too. Thanks, Roseanne. You guys are so nice. Thank you. And I'll make sure to see if that one works for you. Oh, and then Nightbot just put it in there too. And then I did it right after Nightbot. Oh, that's okay. I knew what you meant when you said it. I remember you saying that now because I was like San Diego, but it was another town. Because I remember thinking that in my head. I was like, it's another little town. I wonder where that's exactly at. I have to look. I'll have to ask Vincent if he knows where that's at. He's from LA. It's not close, but he goes to San Diego. I think he used to go there when he was younger. So, okay. Also, oh, look, you did it. Welcome. Welcome to being a member. Thank you for becoming a member. That's so sweet. Thank you. So nice. I did have a comment on my page today and wanted to talk to you guys about it. I just wanted to tell you guys about it really quick because I normally will delete these comments, but I'm going to let this one sit because I think the people in the chat will take care of it for me. But oh my gosh, listen to this. So this is about Natalie Holloway. She said, Horan Vandersloot did not have to, this is a person that commented on my page. She said, did not have to confess to a crime he wasn't even charged with. His voluntary confession shows his remorse and validates his rehabilitation. He is obviously a changed man. Horan has a wife and a beautiful daughter of his own, and he looks absolutely gorgeous. Someone actually posted that. Like, how could you post that? Like, how could you even like comment that and think that that's even remotely right? Like, oh my God, like I had to see that. Like, heaven forbid Beth had to see that. But I'm gonna leave it there, I think. I was in the process of commenting back. I was like, I'm gonna comment back. Just because that's I'm like, oh my God. Right, Jan? Right? I'm having look at me, I'm holding my stomach. I'm having nightmares right now. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think, let me see what it was under. It was under my last video. Yeah, that we did over it. And someone put on there, he's a disgusting R word and M word. Your comment says more about you than it does him. I like that, Christopher Martin, whoever that is. If you're in the chat tonight, you did good. I'm glad that it was a guy that said something too. So that makes me feel even better, because it's like, just as, guys are just, I don't know. It wouldn't be like a bunch of girls coming over there and like yelling at her. It's a guy that's like, no, it's not right. I'm a guy and I'm saying that. He will never change. He just wanted to get back to freaking the Peruvian jail so he could be with his wife and his child because they get conjugals over there. And then he's going to serve out his little time and then he'll be on his merry way to do his own life, I guess, which I still don't understand how he can do his time over there. How can he do that? Like, how can they not ship him back to the United States and make him do that in a United States prison? I just don't get that. Oh, thank you, Lindsay, for the $9.99. Oh, thank you so much. She said, thanks for all you do. Beautiful girl. So happy to be part of this family. Hope you had a wonderful birthday. I did. Thank you, guys. I got the watch I wanted. Let me show you. It's huge. It's the titanium one. I waited patiently. My watch broke. What was that, like a couple months ago? It was still working, but I'd have to like turn it on. The battery was going dead in it. I wore it for 6 years straight. So it lived a good life. So Vincent got me the brand new one and it's huge and it's titanium and I love it. Now I just need the phone. He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have told me that the new iPhone's titanium as well. Like they have a titanium version of it. And of course, now I want it, even though I have this perfectly good iPhone 13 Pro here. I'm like, what's this? I want that junk. I want that titanium phone. Just kidding. I love my phone. So I'll probably get it next year. I'll wait till next year. Oh, really? Well, her mom, encyclopedia, Beth, okay, so to me, Beth reassured me when she stood up to that podium and she was smiling today. Like she looked relieved. I thought she wasn't going to do the presser because of the fact that she just heard what she heard. Finally, after 18 years, you can think it for 18 years, but to actually hear it from the person that did it, finally, after all of this, I thought she maybe just wanted to go home and just be by herself and be, in her own little world. But she came out and did the press conference and she smiled and she looked she looked like she had a weight lifted off her shoulders. So that makes me feel better. As long as she feels good, that's all that matters. It really is. So yeah, that's why he did. Oh yeah. I don't know why if he would have even messed with her and extorted her for that money, he might not be in the position that he's in right now. Because he wouldn't have had to confess to anything. So, dummy. But I guess she was in the water. That's where I assumed, but I didn't know. And I don't think that he did it by himself. I don't know if that read true on the lie detector, but that would be very hard to do by yourself. Like dead weight and stuff, getting it into a boat, getting it out. I don't know. It just seems like that would take a lot of strength. But I'll be back tomorrow evening at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is tomorrow? Is it Thursday? It sure is. Oh, wait, me and Jen were talking. I don't think that they're going to, I'm going to double check. I don't think they're live streaming the Delphi court proceedings tomorrow, but I heard that cameras were allowed in. So they may be like broadcasting it afterwards, but it's tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. I will be up to check on things to see if I see anything on like Twitter or whatever. And if there's anything that I can like show you, even if it's just him walking on into the jail or into the courthouse, I'll come live and we'll do an early morning live. So if you're available, come and join us. But if you're not, I understand because it's a way different time of the day. Oh, yeah. John Ramsey. I didn't know that. They could. We might be getting some. We might have some resolution in the John Benet Ramsey case too before too long. I have really good faith that we're going to get some resolution. That little girl needs it. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Be kind to each other. Be kind to everybody, especially in the comment section. Except for that one lady, she was kind of weird. She liked Vandersloot. So, but I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good evening, and I'll see you guys. Bye.